Well, welcome back to America Decides. In a court filing today, the Trump administration is standing very firmly behind the deportation flights of Venezuelan non-citizens. A federal judge had ordered the flights returned to the United States. The administration argues that because the planes, when the order was given, were over international waters, the judge no longer had jurisdiction. It's a complicated legal matter, to be sure. Doral, Florida Vice Mayor Maureen Porras joins me now. She recently left the Democratic Party for the Republican Party. She's also a former immigration attorney. Maureen, we'll get to the party switch in a minute. Two questions. How do you evaluate the administration's immigration efforts overall, based on your experience as an immigration attorney, and what effect, if anything, do you fear it might have on the economy of your city?
Well, generally, right now, what we're seeing is a strong focus on enforcement. I know that the president campaigned on saying that he was going to be conducting mass deportations. It's something that we are seeing right now. Obviously, it was disheartening for us to hear about the termination of the temporary protected status for Venezuelan recipients, which are a lot of our residents here in the city of Doral. But we have been seeing a higher focus on that type of enforcement and removal. In fact, we have a lot of residents that have already either made preparations to leave the city. Some have already been picked up here in the city of Doral. And we are talking to a lot of those folks that really need legal advice and support to make it through this time.
I've read, and correct me if I'm wrong, Maureen, that a third of the Doral population is of Venezuelan descent. Is that about right?
Yes, we actually have about 40% of our population that are of Venezuelan origin. And that is something that we have always been proud of. We have a city that has been built, but not just Latin American nationalities and countries, but also Venezuelans. And they're really the ones that have contributed to what Doral is. And of course, without their contributions, we wouldn't be the city that we are. And we are very concerned with the impact that's going to be felt at the local level. A lot of these TPS holders are business owners. They're part of the workforce. They're our neighbors. They're essential workers. And so seeing these folks in this predicament and seeing how a lot of them are really concerned and panicked, it really is disheartening. And as a city, we have already taken a position of support for law-abiding members of this community, of the Venezuelan community. And we are continuing to not just support them, but also advocate and really get a message out to the administration to reevaluate that termination of TPS and really help find a permanent solution for these folks that, again, are law-abiding. They have been contributing to our economy and our society, and we want to make sure that these immigration laws are not applied as a blanket, but each case is evaluated and really decided based on merit.
Maureen, has this issue and the application of enforcement, aggressive enforcement from the Trump administration in any way shaken your recent party switch from Democrat to Republican?
So the reason why I switched was because over the last 2 years, I have been working really well with a lot of the Republican leaders here. In fact, we have been advancing initiatives and ideas that really add value to our community. And this is a city that where I was the only elected Democrat in this entire northwest area of Miami-Dade County. And so my work with some of these Republican leaders who have always really supported me really continues. And I am joining the other Republican leaders here in South Florida, including congressional leaders, that have been sending letters and also, again, sending a message to the administration to reevaluate some of this immigration enforcement and these immigration changes to help keep our communities intact, to help keep families together, and to really recognize the impact that it's going to have here in our local community.
And Maureen, there's a kind of a shorthand that the administration uses on social media to suggest that most of the Venezuelans here are criminals, law breakers, either there or here. What I hear you saying is that's not even remotely the case with the community that you are most familiar with.
No, absolutely not. And in fact, I think that's part of the education that we need to provide to our administration and our leadership. I really do think that what's happening now with the immigration system is an overcorrection to an issue that does exist. I think the majority of Americans and even the majority of immigrants do agree that we need to protect our borders, that we need to be removing people that are criminals, that are breaking our laws, that are not contributing positively to society. But this is not the way. I think that there needs to be, again, a reevaluation on how these laws are being applied. I think that we have a lot of members, immigrants that have positively changed our community. And again, we're really urging the administration to speak with us and to really take a look at the members of our community and to really evaluate each case on a case-by-case basis.
Doral, Florida Vice Mayor Maureen Porras, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.